Either you just watched my video on how to get over walls safely, or you already know how to get over walls safely, or you don't care how to get over walls safely. You're watching this because your concern is getting to the top of the wall. The first technique I want to talk about is the tall guy technique. And that's essentially where you are tall enough to get into post on the 6-foot wall the exact same way you would on the 4-foot wall. You jump up and get into post. However, unless you are just crazy tall or have a really good jump, I have seen mistakes made in this. One, you see someone jumping into the wall like this. And the other, even if they're jumping a little more up, they still try and pull themselves into the wall like this. Both of these mistakes stem from the same philosophy, and that is, I want to be on the other side of the wall. I need forward momentum to get there. Now, when you're talking about pits or anything that's wide, then you need to cover distance. So yes, you do need forward momentum to do that, but the wall is only 3 inches wide. It's tall. So we don't want forward momentum, we want vertical height. And any energy spent going forward is energy that's not being spent going up. And therein lies the problem. So what we want to do is, instead of being way back and jumping into the wall, we want to step up right up against the wall and jump straight up. That's where we're going to get our height from the jump. Then the arms. Once again, not pulling into the wall, we actually want to push the wall down into the ground. Think of this like a push-up, okay? If you push on an immovable object, you're the object that's going to move. Hence, you're laying on the ground, you push the ground down, but the ground's not going to go down, you're going to go up. Same thing with the wall. If you try and push it down, the wall's not going anywhere, so that's going to send you up even higher. So the arms and legs are devoted to getting that max height. So how do we move forward to get into post position? That's going to be the head. So we want to press down into the wall, we're jumping up, and then I'll either say headbutt forward or just try and look at the ground on the other side of the wall. We go here, look forward, that's what's going to send us over and center the chest over the wall. So we're here, and we're going to push straight down into the ground, and I'm going to try and look at the ground on the other side of the wall. Just like that. The second technique is called the chicken wing, and it is a legit move, don't worry. But that's the one where we throw the elbows on top, and that's why it's called chicken wing. But mistakes are still made. The first one, just like the tall guy technique, people try and jump into the wall to do it. Remember, we want to go right up against the wall and jump straight up. That way all of our energy is going towards height. Then we throw the elbows on. This is where it gets unique, because people have the right idea. They know there should probably be a crunch. The problem is, when they're up, they turn their legs to the side. Now, because you're using your elbows, you're so close to the wall, you lose a lot of mobility. Your back is forced to stay straight. And then when your legs are turned to the side, you're basically kicking in air, because you're kicking along the wall instead of into the wall. So what you want to do is, once you get those elbows on top, you want to stay facing the wall. And then when you do your crunch, that way your knees are sliding along the wall. That's going to create that traction and friction and leverage. So then from there, you do the same thing that you did on tall guy, where you're trying to push the wall into the ground. You're not trying to pull in, you're already there, you can't pull in. So you're taking your elbows, pushing the wall into the ground. That's going to lift you up enough to get into that post position. These next techniques are for any wall that needs to be scaled. So if you can't just pop over the 6 foot, this is where you're going to use it. If you can jump over this one, great, but these are techniques that you would use for an 8, 10, 12, any wall that's too tall for you to just jump over. These techniques stem from a position called teardrop. Looks like this. So I'm on the wall, and I want you to notice a couple of things. One, my arms and upper body are extended and long and relaxed. My lower body is curled up into a tight little ball with my knees and my armpits. My feet are flat on the wall, and my butt is lower than my feet. All of these are essential in maintaining this position. Think of it like playing tug of war, okay? Nobody plays tug of war leaning forward. As soon as you pull, you fall, right? So we grab the rope, we lean back, and in this position, I can feel pressure in my feet pushing into the ground. I feel tension on the rope pulling back, but I'm not physically doing anything. I'm not actively pulling with my arms or pressing with my legs. It's just the angle. This is where I'm getting the leverage. The same thing happens on the wall. If my butt is behind my feet or on the wall, that would be below the feet. This angle presses the feet into the wall. I'm leaning back, which is pulling on the top of the wall, and this is how I lock in. If I push with my legs, I'm trying to rip myself off the wall. Eventually my feet slide. If I'm in and I pull in with my arms, my feet turn down, I'm pushing down instead of in, and they slide off. If my feet are below my butt, once again, my feet are pushing down and they slide off. So the teardrop position is my sweet spot, and in it I have 100% traction. Now, I can move outside of that, but that's when variables like mud, water, shoe type, everything like that, those are going to come into play how far outside I can move. But when I'm in the sweet spot, the teardrop position, I have 100% traction. And to prove it, I'll demo all that again without my shoes. So 100% traction can sit here all day long, as long as I have the grip at least. But once again, if I pull in with the arms, now it doesn't take much to slip off. Same thing, if I don't get my feet above my butt right away, they're gonna slide right off. But when I'm in the position, I could sit there all day. The first one I want to talk about is the muscle up, because it's pretty much just a culmination of everything we've been talking about, where I'm pushing the wall into the ground, I'm headbutting forward, everything's the same. The only difference is I'm doing it from a teardrop position. Now, this is where one thing will mess you up. When you're in teardrop, you don't want to push down with your feet. You want to push out. Remember, we're maintaining leverage by having this push-pull dynamic from one side to the other. So if I'm going this way and then I try and just push down, it's just going to slide right off. So I'm getting in teardrop. Now, if I try and lean forward and push, then I'm just pushing straight into the ground. So what I want to do is stay leaning back, and I'm actually going to push out and up at like 45 degrees. Then I still want to push into the ground, so my hands are going to be coming more towards my waist, and headbutt at the same time. But the key is going to be the angle of the push in the feet. So when I'm here, I'm pushing out and away. So I'm going here. Then when I bring my hands to my waist and headbutt over, that's what brings me up over the top. There are a couple of variations to the muscle up that involve one leg on the wall and the other one is driving to help give you momentum and propel you over the top of the wall. The first style is going to be a knee drive to the inside between you and the wall. So it's like this. We have one foot on the wall, the other foot can start back, driving the knee up to the inside to help push you up. The second one is a heel drive, or we also call it scorpion kick, where you're kicking back and throwing the heel up this way to kind of help bring you over the top. So this one will have the foot on the wall. We can bring the other foot to the wall so we have a little more swing, and then we're going. So they both work, it just kind of depends on which one you're more comfortable with. The next technique I want to talk about is the heel hook. And this is for those of you who may not have the upper body strength to pull off a muscle up. This way you can utilize that lower body strength to help get you over the wall. I'm in my frog squat position, or teardrop on the wall. I've got my knees in the armpits, holding on like this. All I need to do is pick a side. I like the right side. So I'm going to take my left knee, put it just on the inside of my arm. Right knee is going to go just on the outside of the arm. So I'm just barely going to shift to the side that I want. From there, all I need to do is lean back, because it's not about being flexible and being able to throw your foot behind your head. To get that extra height, if I could just lift my foot up to here and then I lean back, now I can get my foot all the way up here. That's what's going to give you the extra height to get your foot on top of the wall. I want you to remember one important thing: toes up. All right? When we throw that heel on top of the wall, boom, heel digging in the wall, toes straight up in the air. I've seen a lot of people, they're struggling to get it, and then so they just kind of throw their foot up on the wall like this and instantly start trying to pull. What's happening though is you're using the adductors to bring your leg down this way, and it's a smaller, more sensitive muscle. You're risking a groin pull. Okay? Also, your knee is taking a lot of lateral stress. Your knee doesn't bend this way, and if it does, go see a doctor. When we throw the foot up, heel digging into the wall, toes straight up in the air, that way when we go to pull, we're engaging the hamstring. We go here, pulling up into the wall. Once we get it locked into this position, we use the glutes to pull us the rest of the way until we can make it over. Bigger, stronger muscles, joints are moving the way they're supposed to. This is what's going to keep you safe on the wall. So I get into my teardrop, knees in the armpits, feet flat against the wall. Then I'm going to shift so the left knee is just on the inside, right knee is just on the outside, leaning back farther to get that heel on the wall, heel in the wall, toes straight up in the air, pulling to the knee using the hamstring, and then using the glutes and my arms to pull up over the top. This is the point where I refer to my other video about getting over walls safely. If I'm doing the muscle up technique, that's going to bring me up into post position, like this, and then I'm going to throw a leg over. If I were doing the heel hook technique, that's going to bring me directly up into that position. Here's the tip that's going to save your ankles. All right, the foot that's in front when you're coming over, you're going to keep that foot pressed against the wall. So when you come all the way over and drop, that foot's going to slide, the friction is going to slow your descent, and your landing is going to be nice and soft. Trust me, it's a lot better than this. One final thought on the teardrop technique. I know I was saying that you want to be in frog squat with your feet on the wall and pulling back like this, but what I really want you to remember is that the idea is just to be in that tug-of-war position where we're leaning back and we have that natural leverage pushing into the ground. So if you don't have the flexibility right now to get into that frog squat position, think of how you can get into it. Like if you're able to sit like this on one foot with a foot down, this is actually how I prefer to do it. I'll get in like this, hands on top of the wall, and I can lean back just as easily like this, and it's a lot more comfortable. And actually that brings me to obstacles in general, okay? We all have different body types, different strengths, weaknesses, everything like that. We have different things that works for us, and that's what's really cool about this. I mean, I'm giving you examples based off of my experience in the hopes that it's going to help you. But if you can't do what I'm explaining or demonstrating, that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means maybe you need to find another way. And actually, if you do find another way, I would love for you to contact me and show me what you did, because the more examples that I can add to my arsenal, the more people I can help. And if you don't, I mean, if this didn't work and you can't find something, really, please contact me, because I would love to just like help you and help figure this out and see what works for you. Because I mean, this is what I do. This is what I love, you know? So anyway, I'm David Funk here at Camp Rhino in Las Vegas, and I hope to see you on the course.